Welcome Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric and I'm back once again with another live stream. I'm going to focus mainly on the 2021 projection of our wins and loss records. I'm also going to have interactive with you. I want to know what you think of that, but I'm also going to go over some of the recent moves we've had in the last few days. So right now we're going to get into this right now, and if you're not familiar with our live streams, this is how we do it basically, is that we have what I call the rundown. So I have specific topics I want to talk about during the live stream in and of itself right here, and you'll see these, and as we go down, and then afterwards we'll have what I call a Q&A session where you can put your questions into the chat and we can kind of go over those as well. We're also, like I said, going to be going over the schedule, what I call 2.0, because I did do a live stream in May right after the schedule was released, and I gave my impressions and predictions on how we would finish as far as wins and losses, and I've kind of modified that bit. I also want to go over what you have to say about that, your inputs, and we'll kind of compare and contrast. So let's get right to this. Now, first thing I want to talk about tonight is what I call the linebacker movement. Now, obviously, we've had a lot. We've had some injuries, Nicholas Morrow, KJ Wright, some movement there. And this is mainly going to be around two players I want to talk about. First is Denzel Perryman. The other one is KJ Wright, recent acquisitions to the team. Now, Denzel Perryman is mainly an inside linebacker guy, been in the Chargers defense, mainly a 3-4 type guy, very strong run stuffing ability. KJ Wright is more of an outside linebacker. He can play all three positions. He mainly played the strong side linebacker last season, ended up with a PFF ranking of 7th. Both are very good at what they do, where they played as far as situationally. Now, I have made a couple of individual videos on each player, and I go into a little bit more detail on that. So if you haven't seen those, I would advise you to catch up on those. So I think those are very good additions for us, especially with Nicholas Morrow being out, Javen White very thin along linebacking. And like I've said before in previous videos, this really shows me from an organizational standpoint that they actually want to compete, and they're not just going to settle. They're actually going out and trying to get talent to fill these holes. The next one I want to talk about is another acquisition that we had, and that is Peyton Barber. He's a running back. He's an undrafted free agent pickup from the Tampa Bay Bucks, I believe 2016. Was really kind of mainly a backup role until 2018. Now, Tampa did draft Ronald Jones in 2018, but it was obvious that he was not getting a good grasp of the playbook. He was not where he needed to be as far as a starting running back in his rookie season, and they plugged in Peyton Barber there. Now, he started all 16 games for them. However, he only had 616 yards and 5 touchdowns and a little under 100 yards receiving, about a 3.7 yards per carry average. Not very good. I think that was kind of his time to shine, especially as an undrafted free agent. And he was just kind of meh. Now he spent last season with Washington, backing up Antonio Gibson. So now he's here, and it kind of gets me to my next point, basically, as far as practice. These are some updated status of the players we've cut. I've already done a video on that, but these are the ones that we've retained to the practice squad. And I really want to focus on Trey Regis. I know he had a good offseason, or preseason rather, but I know that the competition's not necessarily there as far as, starter level. However, I'm wondering, why didn't we give him a chance at that number 3 spot until Jalen Richard comes back? And why did we get Peyton Barber? Peyton Barber is an okay running back, and we paid him a little under $1 million for a 1-year deal. So I think I would have rather have had Regis here, but we did retain him to the practice squad. So we'll see how that goes as far as that is. Again, there's some other ones that we've kept. Also, B.J. Emmons, who was also running back mainly in the preseason. Jimmy Morrissey, the 7th round pick that we did, we only kept 2 centers. I talked about that previously in my previous live stream as far as keeping 2 centers, only 3 tackles and 3 guards. And some of the wide receivers, we have an abundance at wide receiver. So yeah, guys like Dylan Stoner, DJ Turner, they can return. They can do kick returns for us. So it was nice that we were able to keep them on the practice squad. They were not picked up by another team. So I see we have a couple people in chat. Hi, Earth Daughter, and hi, Sandy B. How are you doing tonight? Hope everything's going well with you. So we're basically into the rundown right now. If you just joined us, and I just kind of talked about the recent linebacker movements. I know I've done individual videos on Denzel Perryman and KJ Wright. As far as updates go, the official announcement of the trade for Perryman didn't happen until September 1st on the Raiders.com website. It's been reported that KJ Wright just came in to start practicing with them. He signed a 1-year deal. The terms, I still have not seen the details on those. The rumor is $7 million. But again, I have not seen that updated like on spottrack.com. So once I get that, I'll let you know. The big thing is I'm not sure if these guys are going to be ready week 1 to be playing, and I will let you know that. I'll be doing a preview versus the Ravens before week 1. Excuse me. So let's get into what I wanted to go over, and that is basically the schedule. I call it Schedule 2.0. Now this is the schedule grid. Now I made this back in May. I showed what I'll go over what I went back in May and then what I updated, but I would rather get input from you guys as to who you think as far as wins and losses. You can put those in the chat right now. So week 1, we open Monday night at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. Big thing with the Ravens before Sandy B says, so they play the 13th minute. Yes, the NFL usually does a doubleheader on Monday night. They are the West Coast side, so they're the second half of that. The big thing with the Baltimore Ravens is they've had a lot of injuries, especially at wide receiver. We talked about J.K. Dobbins, their starting running back is out. Hollywood Brown, I don't think is going to play. Bateman, second-year player who they expected a lot from, mostly like an X or possession receiver. He is out, and he might be gone for the year. They're not really giving out a whole lot on that. One of the things I didn't mention as far as guys like Nicholas Morrow, Javen White, is that they've both been placed on IR. Now the league has changed that's injured reserve. Now they've changed the rules for IR. It used to be if you put somebody on IR, they're gone for the whole year. But they modified it due to COVID, where you can place unlimited people on IR if you want, but they are out for at least 3 games. So they'll be out for 3 games. So I'm wondering what the Ravens are going to be doing as far as the passing game. This is going to make them obviously much more one-dimensional than they already were. The Ravens led the league last year in rushing the football. Gus Edwards will be starting. He was the number 2 guy there. He's been propelled. He's pretty good, but Lamar Jackson, their quarterback, is the ultimate running weapon. Hi, Lobo. How are you doing? I appreciate you coming in here. Long time no see. I just said that, Sandy B. That's weird. I said long time no see right as I saw you have it in the chat there. So yeah, glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see. Hope everything's okay. And I'm glad you're here on the live stream. So what we're doing right now, I gave a brief update on some of the player moves for the Raiders. And now I want to go over what you guys think or predict our record will be. And then I'm going to go over, I modified what I did. I did this initially in May, pretty much right after the draft, kind of getting an initial feel. And now I've kind of changed it a little bit, and I'll explain it once we get to what I did and why I made certain moves and certain changes. So I'm wondering from you guys, where do you think we're going to be at this opening week? This is at home. It is against the Ravens. They are a tough team. Now, they did lose Yannick Ngakoue to the Raiders, ironically. Matt Judon also left. Those are a couple good pass rushers they had on the defensive side. They've had a string of injuries to some of their key players, their skill position players. Lamar Jackson's still there. The big thing, I don't want to get into how I made my adjustments, but I was noticing, I watched a lot of preseason games, and I'm really kind of, things are, how would I say it? Things are a lot more in the fog, kind of in the dark, because we only had 3 preseason games, and a lot of teams did not play a lot of starters. Usually that 3rd preseason game out of 4 is the one where you actually see what you got as far as the starters. They'd usually play like a half. And then the 4th one, they would just put the 2nd, 3rd stringers in there to see who they want to keep. A lot of teams, including the Raiders, Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota did not play one single down in preseason. It was their 3rd string quarterback, Nathan Peterman, the whole time. Yannick Ngakoue, who I just talked about coming over from the Ravens, didn't play at all. Max Crosby did not play at all. Josh Jacobs did not play at all. I didn't see Ruggs didn't play at all. I didn't see Brian Edwards as well. There was a lot of Keelan Doss, Zay Jones, some John Brown, but he was hurt off and on, and Mike Mayock talked about that being a reason why they did not keep him. Hey, Beavers, how you doing? Thank you for coming into the live stream. So you have us at 12-5. We have depth for the first time in Gruden's second stint, they said. We won't fade at the end. Now, that's very interesting. So I want to go over week to week. What do you think? Okay, you can give out a record, but let's see where we stand as far as wins and losses, right? So do you guys think we're going to win the first week against the Ravens or lose? So if you think the Raiders are going to win their home opener Monday night against a tough Baltimore Ravens team, put a W in the chat. If you think they're going to lose, put an L in the chat, and we'll just kind of go from there, and we'll fill this out on what your inputs are, and then it'll add up to a final record here, and then I'll show you what I came up with in May and how I modified it recently. So go ahead and put either a win or a loss. So I got a W from Sandy B, got a win from Beavers. Lobo, Ohio. Yes, Lobo's here. Boy, does Clemson need Trevor back. I'm not so, well, I'm not going to, Trevor Lawrence was kind of okay in preseason with Jacksonville. Some of the other rookie quarterbacks I thought played a lot better. Trey Lance, Justin Fields. You could say Zach Wilson did look pretty good, but it's the Jets. I'd still kind of temper that. So let's put a W here. So we're going to put a W right here for the Ravens. Week 2, they're going to go on the road at Heinz Field against the Steelers. Just give you a little bit of background on this game. The Steelers are opening on the road week 1 here against Buffalo. So I think that's going to be a really tough game for them. I think Buffalo is absolutely one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the league. So they might very well lose that. So what do you think? Do you think there's going to for week 2, put a W in the chat for a win, or put an L in the chat for a loss? You let me know right now, and I will tally it up. So I need a win or a loss. And if you have a reason why, that's even better, So I know Beavers came out with a 12-5 record. I'm not so sure about that. I think that's a little bit optimistic, but I'll explain once I get to my reasonings there. So Hey, Cool Breeze, thanks for coming in with a big W against the Steelers. Sandy B with the W. I'm going to be interested, Sandy B, to see what you say in week 5. That's what I really want to say. Earth Daughter with a W. Beavers with a W. Looks like I got W's all around. Hey, Lobo. Thanks for coming in. I'm not sure if you heard me before. I saw you come in earlier. I'm glad. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here in the. I'm glad you're here in the live stream. So let's move on to week 3. We're back at home, playing against the Miami Dolphins now. If you're familiar as a Raider fan, last year against the Dolphins at home, really kind of upsetting game. I would say it's a game that the Raiders should have won. They kind of blew it at the end. Arden Key with a face mask. Tua Tagovailoa did not really do anything with the ball. They made the switch to Fitzpatrick in the second half, and he was actually got him back in the game. The Raiders had the lead. Miami had the ball deep late in the game. They completed a deep pass, and then Arden Key with that stupid face mask on Fitzpatrick. They added another 15 yards. They kicked the field goal and won. It was very disappointing. So I'm kind of feeling that this, if I remember all this, I'm sure John Gruden and the Raiders remember all this as well. Arden Key is no longer with the team, is with San Francisco. Side note, I didn't think he did very much in that preseason game, even against our backups. So good riddance. You know, we gave him a ton of chances to succeed. He really didn't do it. So for week 3, give me a W if you think the Raiders are going to win this game. Give me an L if you think they're going to lose. And if you want, put some reasoning behind it as well. So like I said, I give reasoning here for each one. So let me see what you have to say on this. And again, if you're new to the live stream, what we're doing is we're going over week to week the 2021 season for the Raiders, and we're putting out predictions whether they're going to win or lose each game. And then I'm going to go over what I went out with in May, right after the draft, and then I kind of modified that, and I'll tell you how I modified it and why. Kier Beaver says, W, no Fitz or Arden Key to save Tua this time. It's funny because a lot of people are saying, well, you know, the story is that Tua didn't have a grasp of the playbook last year, and that's why he struggled, and this year he's going to be great. Now, I will say this. I remember Myles Gaskin being in the game, and I thought I had him in fantasy last year, and I think he's almost like an Austin Eckler type player, very dynamic, but he was hurt. He was active, but I didn't start him because I didn't think he was going to play. And he went I think he had like 2 touchdowns in the game. He was kind of gangbusters, especially in the outside runs, short screens, very athletic. But again, I think it starts and ends with Tua. So if you think Tua is going to make the turnaround the second year, then this is going to be a good game. If you don't, then I see no reason how the Raiders could lose this game, to be honest with you. Sandy B has a W. I'm being optimistic. Cool Breeze with a W. Home game, no East Coast trip. Yeah, we'll be coming back. So it looks like a lot of W's here. So it looks like we're going to start the season 3-0 according to you guys. That's great. I love it. I appreciate that, Sandy B. We need all the candles we can get, you know, especially how about save them for the second half of the season? We generally have a kind of a second half swoon the last couple of years, especially under Gruden. So let's go to week 4. We're on the road at SoFi Stadium in LA, Monday Night Football against the Chargers. Justin Herbert, second year at quarterback, rookie of the year last year. Had the touchdown record for rookies. I believe it was 31 touchdowns. Very strong. And I've said before, I think their weakness was coaching. Anthony Lynn is gone. So what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think the Chargers are going to win this game? Especially if the Raiders start 3-0, they're really going to want this game to try to... I'm not sure how they're going to start. Even if they start 1-2 or 2-1, they're going to want to try to slow us down, at least for a wild card spot, if not the division. So where do you guys think? Give me a W if you think we're going to win this game against the Chargers. And give me an L if you think we're going to lose this game. Yeah, Sandy B with the candles. Save the candles for the second half. We really need it in the second half more so. Kier Beaver says, a loss. Herbert knows our defense, etc. Yeah, it's in LA. It's in SoFi Stadium out in Inglewood, which is, it's kind of on the west side of Hollywood, kind of near the airport if you know anything about Southern California. Looks like a pretty neat stadium. Not as good as ours, but a loss from Sandy B. I have a loss from Beavers. Anybody else? Hate to say it, Cool Breeze says, but I think it's a loss. Looking ahead to the Bears and not taking care of task at hand. Yep. Okay. So we do get our first loss. It'll probably be close either way. Last few have been pretty close. I think the last 2 years have been within one score with the Chargers. We split last year and the year before we swept them. So let's get to week 5, shall we? October 10th. This is our, if you don't know, of course, with the NFL instituting that 17th regular season game, taking away from the preseason, the way they've done it is each conference will host a game against a cross-conference team. They will host it, and then next year it'll switch, so the NFC will be at home for this next game. So it's 9 home games for the Raiders, 8 away this year. And our quote-unquote 17th game will be against the Bears. We are playing against the NFC East here, if you see these teams here, and Eagles. But we're going to be playing the Bears. I'm not sure if Justin Fields will be starting by then. It'll probably depend on the record of the Bears at that point. Matt Nagy will probably be trying to throw a Hail Mary. Andy Dalton will be starting week 1. That's been pretty firm. But again, Justin Fields could be in there. And from what I've seen in the preseason, I'm not sure why people were really knocking him. Not to say he's the most cerebral guy. I think he has maybe the best all around. If you have the athletic and the throwing ability and all that. Let's see. Sandy B with a loss. That's kind of a shock. Cool Breeze says, win. Dalton is Dalton. Dalton can be hot and cold. I'll have to give it to him on that. He can be really good and he can be really bad at times. Here Beaver says, a win. Gruden will have us fired up for this one for sure. Not afraid of Dalton or a rookie. Okay, anybody else? So we have 2 votes for a win, 1 vote for a loss. Going once, going twice. So we're going to put a W here, looks like, for a win against the Bears. Okay, next up, we're going to be going to Mile High Stadium or Invesco or whatever the heck they call it. Go face those donkeys. Mid-October. Kind of favorable, to be honest. It shouldn't be too cold. You never know with Denver as far as, cold snow game, but it is mid-October. Maybe some rain. It shouldn't be too bad. Now, it looks like Bridgewater is going to be starting. I was hoping Drew Lock would be starting early because Drew Lock sucks. Not to say Bridgewater is great, but much better than Drew Lock. He's going to be starting. Von Miller's back. The defense has always been pretty good. It seems like these games have always been kind of low scoring, kind of gritty type games with Denver. So what do you guys think? How do you think we're going to be here? So Sandy B says we'll go for the W against Denver here on the road. She had us having a loss, so maybe a bounce back win here against a division rival on their turf. That sounds good to me. What else do you guys think? Do you think we're going to have a win here in Denver? Put Teddy Bridgewater in his place? I'm assuming Bridgewater will still be starting. I don't. Drew Lock might not even play another down in a Denver Bronco uniform at this point. He'll be backing up unless Bridgewater gets hurt, obviously. But Beaver says a loss. Teddy B and the defense on the road. Cool Breeze also gives us a loss. Donkeys defense is tough. Yes. So let's go with a loss here. That puts us at 4-2. Next up, home game against an NFC opponent here. Cross conference rival, not really a rival. Philadelphia Eagles. I remember the last time we played the Eagles, obviously it was 4 years ago. We play the NFC divisional teams, rotate them around once every 4 years. And I believe it was on Christmas Day, and it was an ugly game for the Raiders. They played like crap. They lost. It was a close game, but they played like crap. They did not deserve to win that game. Jalen Hurts is there. No Nick Foles. A lot of question marks around this team, to be honest with you. Kind of feels like they're in transition. They have Miles Sanders, who can... He's the kind of guy who can make one cut and get an 80-yard touchdown, so you gotta be worried about him. Devontae Smith's hurt. Rookie they picked up. Lobo Ohio says, I'm thinking I'm out of time. Came in and waiting for the show to start, but didn't click the arrow. Click on the live button below and make sure it's red, and then you'll be able to see that. So, well, if you can't hear me, if he's behind, I'll put it in the chat. So, basically, click the live button there and make sure that you're up to date. And that goes for anybody. If you might be behind. YouTube kind of gets weird about things. You might be 30 seconds behind. That live button will be kind of browned out, like it's turned off. Click on it, make sure it's red, and that means you're live, up to date. Cool Breeze gives us a win. Gives us a win right before the bye week. Also, Eagles quarterback is unproven. The Raiders will be pissed after the Denver loss. Yeah, that's good logic, to be honest with you. I'd like that. And also, they're going to be going into a bye. And generally, coaches, what they'll do is if they go and play well and get the W, they'll give the team like the first week off, or part of that first week off. Come back Friday instead of come back Monday and start practicing again. So there's a lot of incentive for the players to play a lot harder too. So you can see we have our bye week here in week 8. Sandy B says the W as well against the Eagles. Hey Lobo, welcome back. So you gotta vote W for a win against the Eagles or a loss against the Eagles. So we have 2 votes for a win. Anybody else? So you can go ahead and put your votes out on the live chat, and I'll be collecting those as well. You can also increase your playback speed to catch up as well. That's good. It's a good point, Earth Daughter. Thank you. W from Lobo, Ohio. Anybody else have anything? Looks like we have W's across the board. I can't really argue with it either. So we go into the bye week. Probably pretty good rested. Hopefully kind of healed up. It's a long season, dinged up. Now we're going to be going the next week after that. We're going to be going into the Meadowlands on the road against the Giants. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Kenny Galladay's there that they picked up. That's their big free agent pickup from Detroit. Leonard Williams they retained. That was a guy I was looking forward to getting as a defensive tackle. Didn't happen. So what do you guys think? A win or a loss against the Giants here on the road, November 7th? Lobo, Ohio. I'm not sure if that was for, let me see. I think those might have been for the Eagles game. So give me week 9 right now. So I'll put a week 9 there. It looks like, Cool Breeze says loss, East Coast road game in the cold and after a bye. Lobo, Ohio says a win. Okay. So give me your week 9 predictions against the Giants on the road in the Meadowlands. It's going to be early November. I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be snow, but it might be cold, might be a little wind going on. Meadowlands is known for that kind of yuck weather, a lot of wind there as well. Sandy B says a loss as well. Beaver says win, 2 weeks to prepare. And Earth Daughter has a loss too. Sorry. Okay. I think that looks like we got 3-2 a loss on that one. Okay. Another thing is you could argue this could be a loss. Is they're going to be kind of overlooking the Giants to be looking at this big, huge Sunday night game at home against the Chiefs. They're big rivals. Right now, the kings of the division, 2-time Super Bowl participants, 1-time winner of the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Again, this is another thing. We played last year. We split with them. Both games were really close, and it kind of came down towards the end. It seemed that these teams are pretty much even. So it'll be very interesting. This is a game, even if you're not a Raiders fan, this would be a great game to watch here. November 14th, Sunday Night Football. Let's see. So what do we have here? So what do we have for a Week 10 prediction at home? Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, the hated rival Chiefs. The offensive line is kind of shaky. It's been shaky since the Super Bowl. They did replace him. Got the guy from the Ravens. His name escapes me right now, but I think he's good. But that's one piece. Lobo Ohio says a loss against the Chiefs here. Sandy B has a loss. Colbury says win. Raiders will be juiced up for this game. Gruden will have them ready for Andy Reid. The Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. Beaver says win. At home, we will expose that new offensive line. So, anybody else have any inputs on this? So we're kind of split here. I will be the tiebreaker if we are split. It's going to be a good game. Any way you slice it, I think the Raiders have made the moves that they need to compete, and it showed last year. Even with a really questionable defense. Sandy B, or Earth Daughter says win. I want to be optimistic. And Sandy B says win. She changes. So let's go with the win here. Next up, at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. So now, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow coming off that knee injury he had. Should be okay. This is... I would say at this point of the season, maybe early on, he'll be a little rusty. He's been a little rusty in preseason as well. Let's see. They got Jamar Chase, his old teammate in LSU. Throw the ball to Joe Mixon. Been dinged up off and on. I'm not sure if he'll even be there to start the game. He might be injured by week 11. No Giovanni Bernard, the backup. He's gone. So who knows what these guys are going to do as far as that goes. So they got the Bengals. I would say the Bengals defense, and I said it in my fantasy video, they could arguably be the worst defense in the league. Let's see. What do we got here? Jonathan Cannon Wright. Thanks for coming. And he writes, I think we'll sweep the NFC East. Washington is the toughest team, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd agree. Washington, they've really kind of built a sneaky kind of good team, at least a competitive team. It's especially with that defense. It's the type of team you wouldn't think they would be in every game. They wouldn't get blown out and look, embarrassed. So what do you guys think about this game? Week 11 against the Bengals. Kind of a weak opponent. Are we going to have a letdown after the Chiefs game, or are we going to take these guys out? Lobo Ohio gives a W. Beavers says W. Win. Cincy is too young, and we scored 40 points on that D. Can't argue that. Let's see. Sandy B has a W. Cool Breeze with a W. At home, Gruden will keep the momentum going. All right. So it looks like we got a W all the way around. Now the next game, short week. It's going to be on Thursday, Thanksgiving. We're going to be going to AT&T Stadium. I think they still call it that. I'm pretty sure. Jerry Jonesland. Hey, Dark Wolf's Den Show. Thanks for coming. So we're in week 12 right now. We're going over your predictions. Right now, we're at 7-3 according to your guys' predictions here. You can see the screen right here. So week 12 rather, Thanksgiving afternoon against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure if Dak's going to be playing. Amari Cooper's been hurt. He'll probably be back by then. I haven't heard anything long-term on that. Ezekiel Elliott's still there. Micah Parsons, they picked him in the first round, linebacker. Very good. He looked pretty good in the preseason as well. A little worried about that part. Still, I think the Cowboys, they picked up a couple other defensive players. Their defense was horrific last year. I think it'll be a little bit, kind of like the Raiders, I think it'll be a little bit better. I think the Raiders defense will be better than Dallas this year, but kind of the similar trajectory though. They're trying to build in the draft. So what do you guys think? Week 12, Lobo, Ohio with a loss. Sandy B with a loss. Yeah, Dark Wolf Den. We just mentioned that Lobo is back. Maybe we'll see him in the lounge later too. Cool Breeze. The refs will decide. Cool Breeze. I forgot to mention that. Last time we played the Dallas Cowboys, that was the index card game that I forgot his name. He's a son of a you know what. He's one of the he retired from refereeing, and I think he's with CBS now as their advisor, their rules advisor, whatever crap that is. We don't forget you. Don't come in the black hole. So if you don't know, last time we played against the Cowboys, it was a key fourth down for them. They didn't make it. And what they did was the guy literally pulled like a 3x5 index card, put it, so they moved the chains, they were measuring the football, and the guy put it in there, and it fit. It actually fit in there. So that would say, to me, that would say it's not touching the sticks. So you didn't make it. But he gave him the first down anyway, and Dallas went on to win at the end. It totally rigged, total bullshit. It is what it is. So a lot of L's though. It is a short week on the road. I can kind of see that. So we got about 10 days after that at home against a very stingy Washington team. I'm not going to name. They don't even have a name. Who cares? But their defense is pretty good. Obviously. Let's see. They got a good running game behind Gibson. I'm not just, like I said, this could very well be, again, and now the week after that we're going to be going to Arrowhead Stadium. This is kind of a rough stretch here, especially if Dak Prescott is healthy. From the Dallas game, I mean, you could argue all the way to Cleveland here. This is kind of a rough 4-game stretch for us. 3 games on the road, 2 games probably in crappy weather here, and then this Washington team's no joke, especially on defense. So give me your predictions in Week 13 against the Washington team of football, the WTFs. Lobo, Ohio with a W. Dark Wolf's Den Show with a win. Lobo with an L. And Dark Wolf's Den Show with a W against the W team. So what do you got, Sandy B? Cool Breeze. Almost want to say Drew Breeze. Beavers. Jonathan Cannon Wright. Let me hear you, Earth Daughter. Where you at? Let me know what you got. A win against Washington. Beavers, another win. 10 days off, and team is pissed after close loss to Dallas. Okay, I can see that. I think either way, it's going to be a tough game. This is not going to be an easy game. Chase Young's there. He kind of had a hot and cold year last year. So, but I mean, when he's hot, he's trouble. And he could give Alex Leatherwood some fits. Earth Daughter with a win. Cool Breeze with a loss. Defense is tough and Raiders focused on Kansas City. I think we got the wins. Wins take it, but it's a close one. It's a close one. So we're 8-4. We're going to be heading on the road mid-December in Arrowhead Stadium against the Chiefs. Now, if we're 8-4, we're either in the division lead or pretty close to it at this point. Kansas City's really going to need this. They can't get swept. And they're in their house. The weather could be crappy. Definitely could get some snow there in Kansas City at this time of year. Mid-December. So what do you guys think? I don't want to try to sway you or anything. Kind of made a case one way there. Just kidding, Earth. She fell asleep. Earth Daughter, did you fall asleep? No. I'm kidding. Cool Breeze with a loss. KC at home and they want revenge. Yeah, I can see that. They can't, if any way possible, they can't get swept. If they want to win the division, and they're going to want to win the division because they're going to want home field there. They have very powerful home field advantage there, not only with the weather, but also the crowd. Very loud there in Arrowhead Stadium. We do not do very well in Kansas City, obviously. I think Derek Carr's won twice there. First his rookie year and then last year. So I think they've lost every other time. Let's see. Dark Wolf's Den Show with a loss. Sandy B with a loss. Earth Daughter with a loss. Lobo Ohio with a loss. Yeah, I can't argue it. We're going to go to 8-5. Now, next week, we're going to be going up to the Mistake by the Lake. Uh-oh, Lobo. I gotta get your opinion on this one. Week 15. This is going to be very interesting. Against Cleveland on the road. Like I said, Mistake by the Lake, by Lake Erie. I remember the last game last year. Very ugly, and it was mainly due to the weather. It was like they played it inside of a friggin' hurricane or something. Nobody could throw more than 10 yards. They try field goals from more than like 25 or 30 yards, and they whoop, gone. The punting sucked. It was kind of crazy. Let's see what Lobo has to say. Oh, he gave us a loss. Oh, dog pound in the house. Cool Breeze, another loss. Road game in the cold. Yep. We generally don't do too well in the cold. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. There no more. This is going to be our last cold weather game, at least in the regular season here. So Sandy B with an L. Yes, okay. Beavers with a W. We win again, and since we get to pass this time by even more. I wouldn't guarantee that, Beavers. We might have the same crappy weather, even worse. We could be getting snow there. And the winds kind of swirl weird by the lake there. And this time of year, I think it's up in the air. I think if we win, we're going to have to do it on the ground. We're going to have Jacobs and Drake just pound the heck out of them to win this game. But it looks like the losses kind of take this one overall. That moves us to 8-6. Come back home to face the Broncos. We lost to them in week 6 here. Day after Christmas. Hopefully Derek Carr got his kids some nice presents, maybe some jewelry for the wife. He's in a good mood. He got his son, the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, with all that money he's making. So, what do you guys think? You think we're going to get swept by Denver? Do you think this is going to be a revenge game? Let's see. Said it's going to be bad weather. Sandy B, the Cleveland game. So this one's at home in Vegas. Cool Breeze says win. Revenge at home after a bad loss in Cleveland. Team will be pumped up to beat Denver. I can't argue that. Can't argue that. Lobo Ohio with another loss for us. He's thinking we're going to lose 3 in a row here. Now, we do have some swoons in the second half. I can't deny that. We've had that the last couple of years with John Gruden here. Beavers with a W at home, so we can take the split with the Donkeys. All right, I like that. Oh, Lobo is changing his vote. Oh, wait, mistake. W is across the board. Sandy B with a W. Yep. I'm going to give this one a W on that one, too. We're at 9-6 now, guys. I can smell playoffs there at this point. But we might have to win at least one more to get in. I'm not sure if we can win the division here. Maybe at 11-6. I'm not sure. But we got 2 games left here. So our last road game, at least in the regular season here, right after New Year's, in the Dome, Lucas Oil Stadium against the Colts. Carson Wentz will probably still be hurt. They got Jonathan Taylor. He'll probably still be playing. Sneaky offensive line, sneaky defensive line. Still a decent team. Again, I'm almost hoping Carson Wentz is healthy for this game because if you saw my breakout video, some of the brain trusts at the NFL Network thought that Carson Wentz is going to be a breakout candidate this year. And, well, yeah, right. I mean, he's sucked the last couple of years, so I don't think it's really going to matter, even if it's with Frank Reich. So what do you guys think? Week 17 here, our last road game, coming off a win against Denver, going into Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, remember, it's a dome, so the weather isn't a factor here. I know Indianapolis is like ice cold, at least in December. When I've been there, it sucks. But they'll be inside the dome. Not worried about that. Cool Breeze says, lost, Colts have our number. Okay. At this point, I think it's really going to be interesting to see how the injuries take their toll. I think if we can get a good pass rush going in this game, I think we can win it, but you never know. Lobo, Ohio with a win. Here Beavers with a win. Dome, so no cold weather issues. And who is their quarterback? I forgot the guy's name. It's a backup guy. Who cares? Unless you're making a joke about Carson Wentz, and then who cares anyway? Sandy B with a win. All right, I will put this one as a W. So we're going to head into the season finale, 10-6. Could be, I would say we're probably, especially with 7 playoff spots now, if you don't know, instead of 6 normally, the 4 divisions winner and 2 wild cards. They have 4 division winners, 3 wild cards, and only 1 team gets the bye. It used to be the first 2 seeds we get the bye. Now it's only the top seed. So I think if we're in good position, I think we control our destiny at this point at 10-6. Regular season finale at home against the Chargers. You guys said we took that L on Monday night against them. Maybe want some revenge here. So what do you guys think? Oh yikes. Sandy B, was that for the Charger game, the W? I'm not so sure. So, Cool Breeze says he gives us a win. All hands on deck, playoff push versus division rival at home. Team will be ready. I like that. Cure Beavers with a win. Home game to clinch a playoff game, in my opinion. Lobo, Ohio with a W. Sandy B, okay, W. Hey, JoJo, thanks for coming in. We're going over our predictions for the 2021 season. So we're at week 18 here, last regular season game at 10-6 so far. And we're voting on the last one here against the Chargers. Earth Daughter with a win. So it looks like wins all around here. So good. So it looks like you guys have us going at 11-6 here as a group. I know Cure Beaver said 12-5. That's pretty close. You know, they might change a game one here or there. So I think 11-6 would definitely get us in the playoffs. Probably not win the division, but definitely get us a wild card game. So we'd probably be on the road against maybe the 3rd or the 4th best divisional winner, depending on how that plays out, how you want to see that. Could very well shake out to where we play the Browns in Cleveland again in the round 1. If you look at it, if you think the Chiefs and the Bills probably fighting over the top 2 spots. I think they're probably the top 2 teams in the conference. You know, so maybe we would play a team like the Browns or Tennessee on the road in the opening round of the playoffs. So 11-6. All right. Good job, guys. Thanks for your inputs. I'm going to go over what I had as far as right after the draft in May, and then I'm going to show you what I have right now. So what I had right after the draft is us going 9-8, possible playoffs. Now I had us losing to Baltimore, kind of similar if you look at these. So we can kind of bounce these back and forth. You can kind of see the changes here. I had us losing to the Bengals. I also, like I said, Monday night game, and then this one on the road I had loss. And then that week, that bye week. Now the Raiders have had a poor knack, not only playing poorly on the road against the East Coast teams, but also after a bye, it's almost like a letdown. And I think they could overlook this team. I think the Giants stink, but this is a game that they always have like one game like what the hell happened, and I think this one could be it. Same thing with the Bengals here. This one can kind of go either way. I think we will split with the Chiefs again. We'll lose on Thanksgiving, and kind of similar to the other one. So I had that. This was early in May, pretty soon after the draft. So now this is what I came up with after the preseason. Kind of took a look at things, kind of changed a few things. So what I did was kind of changed this one to a win. I still think we're going to have this swoon. I left week 1 as a loss against the Ravens. I'm still not sold. We really haven't seen our defense in action, and against Lamar Jackson, I'm kind of worried. I know they have a lot of key players hurt, a lot of their skill positions. Until I see this defense in action, there's a lot of positivity and optimism. But until I see that in action, I'm not so sure. I still have a W against the Bears there, Sandy B. Don't give me a thumbs down on the video, please. Similar type losses, the swoon against the Giants after the bye week. Dallas with the loss. I gave us a loss against Washington and the Chiefs. This one's kind of tough. This one's kind of nip and tuck. I mean, like, you can kind of move some of these around. I did have us finishing with 4 wins in a row. I'm not so sure about that. Maybe swap this one and this one. I think we're going to end up with 10 wins right now. I believe that. I think the offense has had another year. I'm not so worried about the offensive line because a lot of those vets that we got rid of were kind of declining anyways. So I think it's going to be kind of a wash. I think Alex Leatherwood's going to be solid. He might have to take a few bumps as a rookie, but I think he'll be fine. Colton Miller is going to be solid. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. And the defense, I think I'm more optimistic in the second half than the first half because they really haven't had a whole lot of playing time, and it's going to take time to gel. This is why I'm kind of worried about this game. Herbert's for real, and this is going to be another gritty game. I think we'll lose, but I mean 4-2 at the bye week. I think that's solid. We're going to have some kind of swoon in the second half. I think it's unavoidable. Washington's very tough. We do have 9 home games. I couldn't, if I moved this one to a win, I was thinking then that would say we'd be going 8-1 at home, and I just can't see that. 7-2, not to say 7-2 would be easy, but it's a lot more believable than going 8-1 at home. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about my predictions going 10-7? Very close to what you guys had. If we want to look at these side by side, well, next to each other, so you can kind of see we kind of differ on the Baltimore game, the Washington game, and the Cleveland game. So that's the 1 game differential. So put your comments in the chat and let me know what you think about that. So we'll also get into our question and answer portion as well. So if you have any other questions about what I covered, not only about that, but at the team in general, if you have any NFL related questions, you can ask me right now during this Q&A. We'll have a relatively short Q&A. I like to keep the live streams at about an hour. We're getting close to that. I know we kind of went through the schedule. It took a little bit longer, but obviously I thought it was worth it. I had some fun with it as well. I hope you did as well. If you haven't, like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat below and we'll get to those right now. Let's see. Sandy B says, looks good. Save this. Yeah, I have it right here. So if you notice, by the way, it has the old name here. I did change it in Microsoft and it shows the change, but it's not registering here. I don't know why, if you've noticed that. I did reboot my computer. It's still doing it. So I don't know if it takes a day or two for Microsoft to figure it out or whatever. But anyway, in case you don't know, we changed our name. Any of the newcomers here from Champion Sports Nation to Raider Champion, because we're going to focus more on the Raiders themselves. We might do a little bit of NFL, but that's pretty much it. It's going to be mainly Raider, and it's just more, it just makes more sense. A lot of people have had trouble. I've talked to, and secondhand I've heard like, what was that, Sports Nation? What do you do? And so I just wanted to be a little bit more clear with the name. So let's see. I'm just looking at the chat right now. Kier Beaver says Gus has a scheme for Lamar. I hope so. Well, obviously he does, but that doesn't mean it's going to be executed, right? No, I'm not saying Lamar's a great passer. Of course he's not, but I mean, the guy can get nearly 1,000 yards rushing the ball. It's going to create problems. So I hope we have like a spy on him. KJ Wright comes to mind. It's pretty quick sideline to sideline if he's ready to go week 1. Not so sure about that. Didn't really have training camp. He was a free agent, obviously, till late. It kind of amazes me. Perryman kind of makes more sense for him. He wasn't really going to get the starting job with the Panthers that I've read at the inside linebacker position. Plus, he's dealing with a hip flexor injury. But KJ Wright, he's one of the better outside linebackers in the league. If you saw my video, it's just weird that he was still out there available. See, Lobo Ohio says, I would have voted an L against the Bears. You and Sandy B both, but you guys got overruled. I don't see it. If you look at the preseason, the Bears, there's some trouble there. I don't know if the players, you never know. Like, it seems like if you've looked at NFL teams, it seems like Matt Nagy, the head coach, is kind of on his last legs. This could very well be his last season, even if he makes it through the season. And it kind of makes me wonder why he's starting Dalton. If anything, you'd want to try to start Fields, and then if they start losing, say, okay, we have a rookie, we got growing pains, blah, blah, blah. Just no excuse here. And they spent all that money on Khalil Mack. And I mean, he's good, but to me, honestly, he wasn't worth the money. I think we made a great decision there. In hindsight, it was a little shocking, obviously, but I just think on our side, we need to get our defense together, and hopefully it does. Again, we haven't really seen it. We haven't really seen much from the starters, so it's kind of a mystery what we're going to see week 1, to be honest. Sandy B says, I am hoping they will use Fields by that time. Bears are good with, oh yeah, Fields is for real. Now, there are some questions. Obviously, he's a rookie. He likes to look down receivers. I've noticed that, but athletically, I mean, he's almost like a man among boys out there, especially when he runs the ball. It's amazing what he can do. And that can open the field up. You got Allen Robinson there. Cole Kmet's kind of an underrated tight end. I think he'll do a little bit better. I'm not saying he's a Darren Waller, Travis Kelce type, but he'll be pretty good in that defense. David Montgomery, he had a great year last year. I think he's going to come back to earth a little bit, but he's still solid. Thing with the Bears, though, is that offensive line. Absolutely horrific offensive line. Fields might be starting in week 5 because Dalton's going to get destroyed in the first 4 games. I'm not kidding. I think the Bears have one of the worst offensive lines in football, and you're going to need a mobile guy to run for his life. So Good prediction from Cure Beavers. Baltimore and Cleveland are tough games for sure. Yeah. Like I said, Baltimore's still a good team. I know they're out a couple of receivers. J.K. Dobbins is hurt. They took some free agent hits on the defensive side, but they're still solid. They're still a good team. They haven't been a pushover like ever since they moved from Cleveland, to be honest. So Harbaugh's going to have them ready. You know, it's going to be a test. And like I said, the wild card is we haven't seen this defense. What's it going to do? We have a lot of young players, you know, rookies, second year, even third year guys, kind of question marks. What's Jonathan Abram going to do in this game? You know, let's see. Next one, it's you, so it fits with the name. Yeah. Oh yeah. The name change. I agree. Cool Breeze says, I like our chances against the Ravens at home with a full stadium. Yeah. Again, it's going to be down to if we can contain Lamar Jackson. I think the offense can do enough to win the game. I don't know if we can score like 30 points, maybe in the 20s. The Ravens defense is still tough, but it's all going to be about containing Lamar, you know, having them settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. That's going to be the difference. Sandy B says, I agree about Matt Nagy with you last legs. Yeah. And like I said, it's just, especially with that line. I mean, Andy Dalton's in trouble. He is in trouble. Cool Breeze says, this is also our first year. Everything will be open to the public in Vegas. You know, a few of the Raiders' opponents are going to dive into that Vegas life and show up over to the game. You mean like Josh Jacobs and his phantom DUI? Oh, did I say that? Come on, guys. Uber. You guys got millions of dollars. Get a friggin' limo. Get an Uber. There is no excuse for that. Come on. Jeez, guys are funny. All right. You guys have any other questions? Yeah, we're right at about an hour now. So I'm going to, if you don't have any other questions, we'll probably be closing this one out. Not to steal anything from you there, Dark Wolf. Time for curfew. They don't need a curfew. They're grown men. But if you're going to party, at least, you know, okay, back in the day with the Raiders, like in the 70s, you know, it was, you know, John Madden was like, I don't have any rules. I only have 2 rules, you know. Show up on time, you like to practice and stuff, and play like hell on Sunday. You know, it's like you want to go out and party and whatever. I mean, like Ken Stabler, I mean, come on. I mean, I think he played drunk half the time, but he still kicked ass. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you can do it, that's fine. But don't drive drunk. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt other people. You've got millions of dollars. It's not, like I said, it's not like back in the day where, you know, those guys back in the 70s and before, they had to take jobs in the off season, you know, painting or being a pro wrestler or something because they didn't make any money. I mean, you got millions of dollars, get an Uber, get a limo, something. There's no excuse. It's ridiculous. All right, Lobo Ohio, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I think we're going to close this one out anyway. Raphael, thanks for coming. You said the Ravens offensive line is weak. I think we can win by 10. Yeah, but you know what? Lamar doesn't need an offensive line with his athleticism. So Stabler was always half in the bag. Yeah, but he was cool. He you know, it's like one of those things, you know, he can do what he wants because he earned, you know. You're welcome, Earth Daughter. I appreciate you all coming in. Thank you very much. And I hope you did enjoy this. If you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be putting out Raider Comment all year. This week, I'll be putting out a Raider preview for week 1. Trying to get some more information, big on whether or not KJ Wright's even going to be able to play, whether Denzel Perryman and that hip flexor is even going to play week 1. I think we're going to need both guys to help stop this running attack with the Ravens. So I'll be putting that out and putting out my predictions on the game as well. So thank you very much again for coming out here. I appreciate you guys coming out and supporting this channel. And as always, go Raiders.